Hi guys, welcome to the Entrant. In this video, I will familiarize you with the important legal developments of this week. The news for the present video was referred from Law Times Journal, your one-stop destination for the Indian legal fraternity. So let's begin. Supreme Court to examine Section 23 of Senior Citizens Act. Supreme Court on Friday discharged a notice on two petitions challenging Kerala High Court judgment of full bench which claimed that providing basic amenities and maintenance to parents in the transfer deed need to be cancelled under Section 23 of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007. Next. Notice issued by Delhi High Court on plea for declaration of child marriage as a void ab initio. The bench of Chief Justice D.N. Patel and Justice Jyoti Singh issued notice on a plea seeking directions for declaration of Section 3, Clause 1 of the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006 as ultra vires of the Constitution of India insofar as it makes child marriage voidable. It expressly seeks the declaration of child marriage performed in the state of Delhi to be void ab initio. Next. High Court looks to center reaction on suit looking for rupees 2.21 crore harms for property relinquished during the emergency. The Delhi High Court on Monday has looked for the reaction of the central government in a suit looking for harms of rupees 2.21 crores for a property relinquished in 1975 during the emergency, Directorate of Estates and others. Next. Access to safe drinking water, a fundamental right under Article 21, Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court ruled that the right to provide drinking water is central to life and that state has an obligation under Article 21 of the Constitution to provide its people with safe drinking water. Consensual affair as no defense against a charge of kidnapping minor, Supreme Court. The Supreme Court acknowledged that a consensus affair is not a shield against the charge of kidnapping a minor. The infatuation of a minor girl with her accused kidnapper cannot be itself be tolerated as a shield, for the same would amount to surreptitiously undermining the security nature of the kidnapping crime. Next. UPSC candidates extra chance under consideration, Centre tells Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has adjourned a recent plea seeking an extra chance for civil service aspirants in giving the UPSC exam due to the current pandemic situation. The Centre sent out instructions seeking an adjournment since it is actively considering this problem. The final judgment will be given until the Centre and the Union Public Service Commission come to a decision. New rules for LLM course challenged in Supreme Court. A petition was recently filed before the Supreme Court challenging the PCI's decision to abolish the one-year LLM course. The petitioner, Tamanna Chandan Chachalani, challenged the rules as it was a violation of a fundamental right to education and also the Advocates Act 1961 if these changes are implemented. Next, Centre seeks to stop farmer rally on 26th through Supreme Court. An injunction was put forward in the Supreme Court by the Centre seeking to take down a so-called farmers' rally planned for the 26th. The Centre argued that the right to protest cannot include embarrassing the whole nation globally. Many precautions have been made by the Delhi police, even though the farmers have said there is no such march. Next, Supreme Court says farm laws will stay for now. A three-judge bench led by the CJI has recently decided to continue with the implementation of the farm bills. To resolve the issues with farmers, a new committee would be formed that hears both the Centre's and farmers' grievances. The CJI also said that farmers can continue their protest since it is their right to do so. Next, government seeks to criminalize adultery only for the armed forces. A petition was recently filed by the Centre in the Supreme Court which sought to exempt armed forces personnel from the Constitution bench judgment that decriminalized adultery, Section 497, in 2018. The Centre argued that since the army personnel judgment has no effect on them, This case is going to be referred to the CGI with a special request to assign it to a 5-judge bench to give a judgment. Next, WhatsApp's new privacy policy challenged in Delhi High Court. A writ petition has been filed in the Delhi High Court challenging the new WhatsApp privacy policy. This new policy is set to give the company virtually a 360-degree profile into a person's online activity. Therefore, it is seen as a violation of the citizen's right to privacy, and it threatens the national security of India. Next, Chhattisgarh High Court observed that conditions should not be stringent while granting bail. Chhattisgarh High Court noted that while granting bail, the condition imposed should not be stringent and should be reasonable. Otherwise, it would be the denial and deprivation of personal liberty of the accused, amounting to infringement of the constitutional right guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Next, purposes of sexual harassment at workplace, employees working in different states to be treated as one workplace. The Rajasthan High Court's Jaipur bench had made it clear that posting the complaint in a different state from the accused would not be an obstacle to suing the accused for sexual harassment in the workplace in the digital age. Directions issued by Allahabad High Court regarding timely service of notice of bail pleas to victim, Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act. While hearing the concerns regarding certain irregularities in the practice of hearing of bail applications or bail appeals under the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989, the court issued certain directions regarding placing of bail application or appeal under the Act before the court and timely delivery of notice to victim. Justice Ajay Bhanot noted that applications for bail should be processed expeditiously and sent to the court for hearing within a fair and definite period of time. Next, balance needs to be struck with public order and security. Freedom of speech and expression cannot be curtailed. On 12 January, the Calcutta High Court observed that fundamental rights to freedom of speech and expression and to peaceful assembly cannot be curtailed by the state, and observed a balance has to be struck between the rights of the petitioners and public order as well as security, in the view of stipulations in Article 19, Clause 6 of the Constitution of India itself. Next, under Special Marriage Act, mandatory publication of notice of intended marriage violates right to privacy. Allahabad High Court held that there is no mandatory provision to publish a notice of intended marriage pursuant to Section 6 and to invite or entertain objections pursuant. Justice Vivek Chowdhury noted that making such publication mandatory would invade the fundamental rights of freedom and privacy of the persons concerned. Next, CBDT to decline deadline for ITR by Jan 12th, Gujarat High Court. Division Bench of Gujarat High Court directed the Central Board of Direct Taxation to decide the extension of filing income tax returns and tax audit reports for the annual year 2021. The court relied on the case of Pakjibai S. Bishoni versus Income Tax Officer and others 20. Next, Manipal Health Enterprises to acquire Columbia Asia Hospitals approval by CCI. The Competition Commission of India has approved the 100% shareholding of Columbia Asia Hospitals Private Limited by Manipal Health Enterprises Private Limited. The market sources valued the deal at 2,100 crore. Due to the acquisition, Manipal Health Enterprises Private Limited would be the second largest healthcare chain after Apollo Hospitals. Next, one-sided and unreasonable clause, unfair trade practice in apartment buyers agreement. The Supreme Court under Section 2, Clause 1R of the Consumer Protection Act held that including one-sided and unreasonable clauses in the apartment buyers agreement constitutes an unfair trade. The court held that cannot be compelled by the developer to follow one-sided contractual terms of an apartment buyer's agreement, whether arbitration agreement will be invalidated on unpaid stamp duty of substantive contract. A three-judge bench of Supreme Court held that an arbitration agreement will not be invalidated if the stamp duty on the commercial contract is unpaid. Bench disagreed with two judgments and referred a question to the Constitutional Bench. Next, goods and service tax on electricity charges collected from government, not incidental expense. It was held by the Gujarat Authority of Advanced ruling that GST, which is applicable on electricity charges collected from the government, is not covered under incidental expenses and therefore would not be included in the value of supply. Okay, guys, that's all for today's episode. Thanks a lot for patiently watching and hope you like this video. Please like, share, subscribe this video if you did enjoy it. And I will see you in the next